Now then guys, how you doing? Welcome back to another rebuild where we take on Valencia. I put it out there on my community tab on my YouTube page for the vote to go in, which teams you're interested in, and 37% of you voted for Valencia, so we're going to give this one a go. Now Valencia, for me, quality team at the start of the noughties, but all I think about now is, when I think about Valencia, is Gary Neville and his unfortunate stint that he had there. So yeah, it was a bit of a shocker for him, but we're here to rebuild it, to take it back to its glory days. Now the big thing with Valencia is they're in a bit of financial trouble. So today is just all about sorting out financial trouble. Or do I do what I've done in other rebuilds and completely wreck it financially to try and take it to that next level and hopefully get a takeover? Who knows? But for me, I'm probably going to go with, first of all, let's consolidate, let's get some financial stability, and then let's start pushing on for Europe. So yes, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot as this channel is continuing to grow. We're almost at 1,300 subscribers now, which is absolutely insane to say that we started the year on 1,000. So yeah, 300 odd subscribers in the last month alone is, yeah, insane. Absolutely bonkers. If you are already subbed and continue to like and follow the channel, thank you very much, means a lot. But let's get in to sorting out this mess that is Valencia. Right then guys, so here we are, day one in Valencia, and let's just have a look at the club history, as they have recently won some silverware. From looking at it, they won the Copa del Rey in 2019. They haven't had a great couple of years, I'll be honest, with a 9th place finish and a 13th place finish last season in the league, but they are still a La Liga club, and that's the big things. There's teams around them, when they've got into some financial peril, have been relegated. Obviously Barcelona basically being an exception to that. They're never going to get relegated. Or are they? Keep an eye out, as it may happen, Stranger things have happened on this. I can't see Barcelona going down. They've got too much clout. But you never know what can happen on Football Manager. But looking at the trophies then. So the last won the Liga in 2004. They had a decent start, like I say, to the Millennium, with a league trophy in 2002 and then again in 2004. The last won the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup in 1980. They won the Europa League in 2004, the UEFA Super Cup in 2004, the Copa del Rey, like I say, in 2019, and the Super Copa in 1999. So there's an opportunity for us to go on. The big thing for me, though, is the finances. We're absolutely smashed financially. Transfer budget for this season is 1.7 million. I'm getting 50% of transfer revenue. Wage budget-wise, though, 840k per week, and we're currently spending 844. How are we not spending over £1 million for a La Liga club? It will be interesting to see what the Barcelonas and Real Madrids of the world are spending on finances, and we're only spending 840k, yet we're in some real trouble when we look at the debt and loans here. £202 million net debt and transfer debt of £18 million. Now there's not too much we can do with this. 3 of those loans are paid off in 2024, but we still got an £86 million loan that ends in 2037, and that's the same for this bank loan here. £133 million, again, ends in 2037. So I did say we'd look at the finances quickly and these wage budgets elsewhere. So I just want to go down into this bottom corner where you can see that the wage budget for Barcelona is £3.6 million. Atletico Madrid, £3 million. And Real Madrid, £5.7 million. So you can see we have just not got that financial clout at the minute. Absolutely not. I've got to get us over £1 million a week while still trying to keep us financially stable. Who is our top earner? First of all, let's have a look at that. So top earner wise then, wages. Gonçalo Guedes, 24-year-old Portuguese international with 23 caps, is getting 100k per week. So he's basically getting an eighth of our available transfer budget. Next player below him is Carlos Soler. Now, what a player this guy is. 24-year-old, not fully capped by Spain yet, but he's getting 80k a week, and he deserves every penny of that, if I'm honest. Played 32 times last season, scored 11 goals. So one to watch there. Can we cash in on him? Maybe £44 million. I don't want to let my best assets go. That's the main thing. So looking at the club vision, and the club culture is to sign players under the age of 23 for the future and develop players using the club's youth system. The 5-year plan is to sign players to sell for a profit. So here we go. This is where we look at the money ball and work within the wage budget. The end of the current season then is to get to the Copa del Rey semi-final and to qualify for the Europa Conference League place through the league and work towards becoming self-sustainable. And that is all the way through. We just need to continue being self-sustainable. So financially, they know they're in a bad place. Competitions wise, and this season, all we've got is La Liga and the Copa del Rey. No European football this season at least. And then looking at the squad dynamics and team cohesion, club atmosphere and managerial support is all average, which isn't great. We haven't got any player issues as of yet, but I've only got 2 players as supporters early doors. Gaia and Felukia, the only 2 players as supporters, which is shocking. 22 players have no real opinion of us and no players oppose us. So, it's not the end of the world in that respect. But looking at the squad depth then, and the way I'm probably going to go is with that 5 at the back, 2 in the midfield and 3 up top. 2 strikers with 1 behind. And we're pretty decent. Guedes is the best striker at the club with Maxi Gomez also there. Maxi Gomez, a player that I'm sure will be with us for the next couple of seasons at least. You know, I know there's teams like Newcastle and all that interested in him, I think, there. If I see Arsenal, Chelsea, Leicester, Newcastle, Bayern and Inter. So he's a quality player, only 24-year-old as well. Behind the strikers, a Sola. In the midfield, we've got Sola, Vas, Rakic, Musa in there. Musa as well. This guy's a bit of a prodigy. 18-year-old American with 6 caps already. Then we're looking out on those wide areas. So Jose Gaya and Sola can play out there as well at the right back. Then in the defence, obviously going to play with 3 defenders. Gabriel Paulista is the main man at the back. And in goal, I've got Silerson as my number 1. Now, having a look at him, 30.5 million is what we spent on him. For him only to play 10 times last season. It was at Barcelona where he barely played. And they only spent £10.5 million on him. There's some ridiculous transfers here, there really is, which explains why they're in so much trouble. So what we're going to do then is we are going to move forward to the start of the season, go through this transfer window, which is going to be hard work. I'm going to have to get players off the books, but I don't think I'm going to be able to improve this squad in this transfer window. There's just too much financial damage done, and my first job is to repair it. Right then guys, we're back at the start of season 1 and we've had a fairly decent transfer window. I'm happy with how it's went. Finances wise, we've got £18 million in the transfer budget. We're still only getting 50% of available revenue. Overall balance now up to £101 million. Wage budget wise, reduced it drastically to 678k. I've increased the overall balance allowed to 872. I'm going to keep pushing that overall wage budget to around about £1 million. I'm not going to try and reach that threshold. I just think for me, OCD wise, makes me feel a little bit better that I've got over £1 million wage budget potentially if I want to use it. But the debt and loans is the big thing. I've basically halved that net debt as it stands. Transfer debt £33 million. But what were we beforehand? £204 million, something like that. So yes, almost half that just in this summer transfer window. So players leaving then, Yoam Dominic, he has gone off to Shakhtar Donetsk for £7 million. Now he looks like he was more or less number 1 last season, played 28 times, but he went £7 million. You know, I'm happy to get that kind of money for a 30-year-old. Yes, he is a Spaniard, but his current ability was 3-star and he was on 30 plus K to start with, so just to clear that off, fantastic. Next out the door was Denis Cheryshev. Now, 30-year-old Russian, yes, he's got international experience, 31-year-old, but he's gone back to Russia, to Spartak Moscow for £5.5 million. He's been all over the place. This guy started off at Real Madrid. Now, last season, played 21 times for us. We did bring him in for £5.25 million. He played 21 games last season, but we've recouped our money back, £5.5 million. And again, we got the opportunity to get his wages out of the club, and his contract expired at the end of the season, so a good deal all around again. Then Jason left us, never heard of this guy, but he has gone away to Rennes for £5 million. Now, we got him on a free transfer in the 2019 season, but he played 17 games last season, and he was a wide man, and I don't really need a wide player with the formation that I'm playing. So he just fell victim to the change in style, and he has gone. Another player out the door then was Daniel Vas. Now, he was 32-year-old and he's gone to Newcastle. Obviously, Newcastle, the gift to keep on giving. They'll just buy absolutely anybody. But they took him on for £4 million. He was ever present almost last season, playing 35 games. And we brought him in for £5.25 million. But I'm happy again to get £4 million back and to get his wages off the books, especially when he's getting paid 86k per week to play for Newcastle. Another player that was getting paid nearly £70,000 a week to play for us was Jasper Silensen, and he has gone off to Dynamo Moscow. We paid £30.5 million for him, like I said before the break, and we've sold him on for £9.75 million. I'm happy to let him go. He could have potentially been my number 1, but I needed to get those wages out of the club. Then a massive money move was Jose Ayer. He has gone off to Manchester City for £52 million. Now, there's no add-ons in that. That's all up front. He's played 1 game for them already. Now, this guy was probably one of the best players at the club. You can see there, you know, physicals, 17 acceleration, 16 pace. Playing as a left back. We would have had him as a left winger. 26-year-old with 15 casts for Spain. I needed to get him out of the club. Not because he'd done anything wrong. Like I say, he was one of the best players at the club, but just for the funds. The amount of players that I've been able to bring in, because we only got, what, £25 million of that money. £26 million is getting 50% of it. And it's still good enough for me. And it was an opportunity just to rebuild the club just off that one sale. But we were lucky and we got another big sale. Like I say, Newcastle, the gift. They come in and took Gabriel Paulista, the best defender at the club at the time. £30 million. I got £15 million of it back. Played 31 times since last season. And I'd imagine there's a few people watching it and happy that we've let some of these players go. But again, for the good of the club, they've moved on. So coming in then, the first player through the door was Ferro. Now he has joined us, centre-back. 24-year-old Portuguese under 21 international. I'd expect to see some Portuguese caps throughout this save. Was actually on loan with us last season where he played 3 times, but I've brought him in for 950k. I'm happy to bring him in. Yes, he's not going to be a starter, but he's already valued at 5.6 million. You've got to remember, I'm bringing players in to look at reselling. So yeah, it was a decent deal for us. Currently injured, out for 6 weeks to 2 months, but again, really good addition to the squad. Then I brought in Anel Hamadodzik. Now, we brought him in from Malmo for £4.9 million. Played 12 times last season. He's currently valued at 24 million. 22-year-old Bosnian international with 6 caps. Plays as a centre-back, and that's where I'll be having him. Current ability 3-star, potential ability 4-star. Heading 14, marking 13, tackling 14. He's 6'5", so he's a tall presence at the back, but he'll also be decent when we're attacking those corners. Then I brought in Sven Botman. So as you can see, I've already brought in 3 centre-backs to the club. Now, he's 21-year-old, but he hasn't got any caps for the Netherlands as he stands. He can play as a left-back and as a centre-back. We've brought him in as a centre-back. Currently valued at 12.5 million. I spent £8.5 million on him from Lille, where they took him on for £7 million. Now, he played 37 times for them last season. This guy's going to be a starter. Heading 15, marking 15, tackling 16. And this guy's also 6'4". Then I wanted to improve out on that left-hand side, so I've brought in Federico Di Marco. Now, again, this guy's valued at £28 million, and I put him up for 8.25. So, if things don't work out this season, we should have some decent resale value on them. His current ability is 3.5-star, potential ability 4-star, currently a star player at the club, with a continental reputation, acceleration 15, pace 14, corners and crossing above 16, long shots 18 as well. Hopefully, we'll see some goals from him this season. And then with Silas and Leven, I brought in Dominik Livakovic, now a 26-year-old Croat with 25 caps. And he's already an upgrade in my goalkeeping department. So current ability 4-star, potential ability 4-star as well. So he is playing to his full potential. We brought him in for £9 million. That is an absolute bargain. Played 33 times last season. He's more or less been ever present, you know. He's Croatia's #1 as well. So Livakovic, it was a no-brainer bringing him in. Valued at £28 million already. So tactics-wise, and this is how we're going to line up. So we're going to play with the libero. We're going to play the 5-2-3 with Livakovic in goal, Botman, Ferro and Hamadodzik at the back with DeMarco and Randall Carrera out on that right-hand side. We've got Sola and Rakic in the middle with Guedes behind Duro and Maxi Gomez. I do need a player to play in that deep line forward position. Maxi Gomez could play there if he wanted. We could swap those 2 guys around. Potentially want to play. We've got a complete forward there. I would much prefer to play the advanced forward in that role. But yes, that is how we'll line up. We're going to play tiki-taka, obviously, in Spain and play a positive mentality. Squad dynamics wise then, team cohesion is average, club atmosphere is now very good and managerial support is good as well. Top influencers though, I've got 6 players that now support us, 18 players that have no real opinion as it's taken some time to get these players on side. Competitions wise then, nothing's changed obviously, the La Liga and the Copa del Rey, but what is the season preview for us then? So we're expected a 9th place finish with 50-1 to win the league, and we've got no players in the Media Dream 11, which doesn't surprise me in fairness. You know, when you've got the likes of Atletico, Real Madrid and Barcelona in there, it's going to be extremely difficult for us to get players in there. However, after a couple of seasons we may be able to force players in. And then looking at the schedule to start the season, then so we start off with games against Granada, Levante, Sevilla, Rayo Vallecano and Atletico Bilbao. I will take that. That is a quality start. You know, there's a real opportunity for us to hit the ground running. Really, we don't come across a top tier side until the 17th of October. Then we have Real Madrid on the 21st of the 11th and Barcelona at the start of December. So we could be getting ourselves in to the top 5 places. Let's just have a look at the rules to see we need to get into Europe. So looking at the rules wise then, in the Liga, we get all the way up into 7th place. There's a real opportunity for us there. The top 4 places get Champions League football potentially. 5th and 6th get full Europa League. And 7th place get Europa Conference League. Now, obviously, that is dependent on the Copa del Rey, but we have got a real opportunity there. There's not too much pressure on us this season. We should be getting a top 7 finish with our eyes closed. So that's what we're going to do then, guys. We're going to break our way into these European places. So you'll join me at the end of Season 1, where hopefully we've got European football next season. Alright, so just like that, guys, the season is over and we've had a 2nd place finish. Absolute scenes as we finish 8 points behind Real Madrid, 5 points clear of Atletico Madrid, Barcelona with a 5th place finish, getting Europa League football, no Champions League for them next season. As you can see then, we played 38 games, won 23, drew 11, that's the problem. If we just won some of those games, who knows what could have happened there. As we lost 4 games, that's the least in the league. We scored 63 goals, conceded 26, which also looks like it's the least in the league as well. That giving us a goal difference of plus 37, 80 points on the board, and we won 3 of our last 5 games, drawing 2. Let's have a look at the past positions then. So we were all over the place at the start of the season, as deep as 10th place in the league with a 1-1 draw against Real Betis. But then we end up in second place. We end up beating Atletico Madrid 2-0 and we just cruise along in second place for the rest of the season. Real Madrid, they were in top spot for the majority of the season, and Barcelona, yeah, they were mincing about in the top 5 and deserve no better than 5th place by the look of this as well. Competitions wise, obviously we were just in the 2 competitions this season, so second in the league, and we were knocked out of the Copa del Rey in the second round by Cordoba, so we failed that one. What did they want? A semi-final finish, I think the board wanted. How did we get on with the board? Let's have a look. So I got a B for the first season. To summarise the board, I'm very pleased with your overall leadership of the team. Everything else has gone quite swimmingly. All I wanted from this season was obviously to get into the Europa Conference League, and they want that again next season as well. So they're still expecting a top 7 finish. They don't even want us challenging for the title. But the season after next, the chairman's actively trying to sell the club. He wants out. What about finances? And I've been given £5.2 million for next season. Wowzers. Wage budget wise is now 916k, and I'm currently spending 659. Overall balance £55 million. And this debt and loans, we're back up to £155 million debt, and transfer debt is £23 million. So team cohesion and club atmosphere is good, and my geo support is very good. I've got plenty of players that want better deals and want to leave for better playing time, in fairness. I've now got 16 players as supporters, 7 players that have no real opinion, and no players that are pausers. And looking at the player stats, Maxi Gomez was the top goal scorer this season with 16 goals. Highest average rating was Maxi Gomez as well at 7.32. Most assists was DeMarco with 19 assists this season. Money well spent there. How much is he valued at now? £33 million. You never know, we might look at cashing in on that this season. Best pass completion was Ahmed Odzik with a 96%. Most player of the match awards was Gomez with 7. Most yellow cards was Rendell Carrera with 8. But what about the team stats wise then? So team stats, we scored 63 goals, which is the 4th best. We conceded the least amount of goals, which was 26. Yellow cards wise, 48, which is the 8th best. Red cards, 2, which is the 6th best. And the Mestalla had the 6th highest average attendance with just under 47,000. So there we go then, guys. First season down. Just have a quick look at where we should look at rebuilding. So up front, we could probably do with another striker. Like I say, I want someone who's going to play deeper as that deep line forward out of the 2. Behind the striker, we're fine. Midfield could do with another player in there. Definitely need somebody else out on the left-hand side and probably the right. Solar is my best player out there still. Centre-back wise, we are stacked, but I'll probably bring in another 4-star centre-back, and I definitely need another goalkeeper to challenge Livakovic. So there we go then. We've got loads to do. A busy transfer window ahead as we're going to have to sell again to generate transfer funds. Let's just have a quick look at the finances again. We're currently getting 95% of transfer revenue. So at least this time round when we sell the players, we're getting that money back. So a very busy transfer window, like I say. Let's get stuck in. Right, season 2 then, guys, and after what has been a fantastic first season in charge of Valencia, obviously it's still about repairing the debt and making us financially secure. That's what they want, sustainability, and that's what we're pushing for. However, I nearly lost my job in the transfer window. Absolute scenes when we look at the club vision. Before the season's even started, I've already failed the challenge in a domestic cup competition. Now, what had happened is, when I was making promises at the start of the season, I said we're just going to play down every competition, we're just going to go as we were. And some of the players were really unhappy that I didn't want to challenge for the Copa del Rey, which I should have done. And I just continued to be stubborn and stand my ground. And yeah, I had a full-on revolt happening. I got called to the boardroom and I managed to beg for my job. I told them that we needed stability at the club and they've given me one more chance. So there you go then. I think that's the first time the rebuild I've probably been fighting for my job in the transfer window. So yes, we've already filled one of those challenges already. Looking at the finances though, I've got 9.6 million in the transfer budget. I'm getting 95% of the transfer revenue, but I'm now spending over £1 million. I did say earlier on that I didn't want to be over that. However, with the players that I've brought in, I think it's a good step. Debt and loans wise, £96 million is now the net debt. Transfer debt now £21 million, but in the overall balance we've got £99 million. So we're all right, I would say. We're definitely doing some good stuff. Like I say, debt and loans, more or less everything has been paid off now and it's been consolidated, as there was plenty of loans in there beforehand. So we're looking in a good place. When we look at that vision, just before I move on, there's nothing being said about selling the club now. We've just got to continue to grow the club's reputation. So the owners aren't wanting to move on. Transfers wise and players out, Marcus Andre wasn't the player that I brought in. He was brought in last season from Real Valladolid, especially when we brought him in. He'd played 23 times and scored 4 goals. Not ideal for a striker. Played 10 games for us last season, scored 2. We bought it for 7.25 million. Like I say, that deal was already agreed before I took over, and I sold him to Stuttgart for £5 million. Another player that joined us was Dimitri Falukier. Now, he joined us from Granada last season. It was undisclosed and we sold it for £5 million. He did actually play 22 times last season, but yeah, £5 million, more money in the bank. Tony Lato, 24-year-old Spaniard, was a player that I let go. I let him go for next to nothing, in fairness. £1 million. He's been with us more or less forever. He's been out on loan a few times. At £1 million, he was never really going to feature as we continue to improve the squad, so he has gone. Manu Vallejo, he has gone to Lyon for 11.5 million. After last season, he had a really good season for us. 36 games, 11 goals, 2 assists, 6 player of the match performances. We bought him for 5.25 million from Cadiz, but yeah, 11.5 million. And when we get 95% of transfer revenue, that kind of money is what we want in. And then the last player out was Ferro. This guy joined us last season. Obviously, he'd been on loan with us as well. We bought him for 950k. He played 10 times for us, so he wasn't a regular starter. And we sold him for 1.9 million to Strasbourg. So players coming in then. The first player in is Georgi Mamuradashvili. Yeah, nailed it. So we brought him in first. He was actually on loan with us last season, and there was an option to buy for 775k, and I've taken it. He played 1 time for us last season, conceded 2 goals, but for me, you know, he's a decent squad depth option. He's not overly bothered about being a number 2, even though he is down as a star player, but we're only paying him 15k a week. Currently valued 13.5 million. So yes, 21-year-old Mama Dashvili. There we go. 11 caps for Georgia as well. We also made Omar Alderetti's deal permanent as well. Again, in his loan clause, we had a 6 million buy clause. So brought him in. Quality player, 16 heading, 15 marking, 16 tackling. Already valued up to £32 million. He's 25 with 18 caps for Paraguay. Plays at centre-back, but can also play out on the left-hand side. Obviously, we're using wing-backs, so he is there as a centre-back. Last season for us, he played 29 times, scored 6 goals with 2 player-of-the-match performances. This one was a no-brainer for £6 million. Like I say, already valued 32, so winner. Then we started piling in the free transfer. So Fabio Cavallo has joined us from Fulham. 19-year-old Portuguese, under 21 international, being capped twice there. We brought him in for a free transfer from Fulham, where he played 30 times, scored 8 goals, 1 assist. Yes, it was in a championship. However, this guy's got potential. Can play behind the striker, left and right and centrally as well. Could drop a bit further back. However, he's not preferred to be there. So yes, we've listed him for loan. Hopefully he'll go out and develop this season. But Fabio Cavallo joins us on a free transfer, and he's already valued at 18.5 million. Then we went out big and brought in Andrea Bellotti, currently valued, as you can see, at £73 million, playing to his full potential, which is 3.5 star. He's 28-year-old, about to hit his prime, 42 caps for Italy, 12 goals, up there as the striker. Look at those attributes, absolutely incredible. And we got him in for a free transfer from Torino, where he played 36 times and scored 12 goals last season. This guy, absolutely buzzing to get him in. Yes, we're spending 79k per week on wages. He's had a decent pre-season, scoring 2 goals in 2 games. But £73 million, even if we sell him on, say, for £40 million next season, which is probably where we're going to moneyball it a bit, that's some big money for us. Another free transfer through the door then was a 22-year-old Frenchman, Boubacar Kamara. Enthusiastic centre-back with fairly professional personality. His current ability 3-star, potential ability 4-star, and he's valued £45 million. Now, he's not the finished article, obviously, at 22. Head and mark and tackling, all on the low side. Tackling at 15, I'm not too bothered about. Strength-wise, only 12. Dictates his tempo, and I'm probably going to play him in the middle of my defence as the libero, because that's what I've got at the minute. He was at Marseille last season, where he played 27 times, 2 goals, 1 assist. But a free transfer, I absolutely love that, considering he's now valued up to £45 million. And the free transfers just continue as Corentin Tolisso joins us. 27 he is, 28 caps for France with 2 goals. And we brought him in on a free transfer after he played 20 times for Bayern Munich. Now, this guy's going to play in my central defence, but he can play absolutely everywhere, if I'm completely honest. Mentally good, physically good, technically could be a little bit better, but playing him in that central midfield position, long shots 15, off the ball 16, work rate 16 as well. And we're going to be a very physical side, so that aggression 16 as well is just what we want. Now, his potential ability is 3-star, current ability 2.5 star. He's 27-year-old. He's more or less playing to his full potential now anyway, and he's valued at £23 million. And then the last free transfer through the door is the 33-year-old Welshman, Gareth Bale. Bit of a marquee signing here. Already valued at £29 million. He's definitely not going to be that much by the time we look at selling him on next season. Can play out wide, but we're going to bring him in to play behind the striker. We all know what Gareth Bale's about. He's got plenty of good attributes. His acceleration and pace, now off the ball a little bit. But we brought him in on a free transfer from Real Madrid, where he played 19 times last season, scored 3 goals. Never going to be a regular starter there. But he's currently valued, like I say, up to £29 million. And the big thing for us is we're only paying him 52k per week wages, where beforehand was he on like 350 odd k even. He might have been even more of that. But yeah, 52k per week, decent addition to the squad. Then I was looking at strengthening out on those wide areas. So the first player through the door in that respect is Nandez. He joins us, 26-year-old Uruguayan with 51 caps, currently valued up to £10 million, and we bought him for £9 million. So he was at Cagliari last season where he played 31 times with 2 assists. Decent for me, you know, acceleration and pace both high, crossing and dribbling 13. We're going to play him out on that side, as you can see there. So his attributes have just lit up and he's good in all those areas. And then finally, out as that left wing back side, we brought in a 24-year-old Croat with 4 caps, Borna Souza. Now, he's currently valued 4.5 million now. He's not breaking the bank there, but we spent £5.5 million on him after he played 27 times for Stuttgart with 3 goals, 3 assists. Again, out on that left-hand side, you know, acceleration and pace 16, with crossing and dribbling 15 and 13. Good attributes for what I need. So when we look at it overall, and I've spent 14.5 million at this start of the transfer window, and I've brought in 24.5 million. So overall, you know, we've managed to bring more money in than we spent, £10 million more going into the bank. So looking at the tactics-wise, then this is probably how we're going to line up, with Livakovic in goal, Botman, Kamara and Hamadodzic at the back, with DiMarco and Nandez out wide, Soler and Tolisso in the middle, with Bale behind Belotti and Maxi Gomez. What a squad that is. Probably that position where Maxi Gomez is, because I would like to play him deeper. I just need somebody who's got the pace to play off him. However, I haven't found that player yet, so we're going to go with this as my starting 11 this season. Competitions-wise, then we've got the Super Copa, La Liga and the UEFA Champions League. We do actually play Real Madrid in that Super Copa semi-final. I think that's in January that plays out. Yes, 5th of January there. What is the expectation for this season for us? Looking at the season preview, then we're expected a 7th place finish, 50-1 to win the league. So our 2nd place finish last season has done absolutely nothing to improve our odds of winning the league. These critics, they don't know what they're talking about. So we're going for a top 4 finish again would be good for us. And we start off with games against Alaves, Getafe, Osasuna, Huesca and Eibar. All winnable games. 15 points from a possible 15 is all I'm after from them games. No points dropped. Obviously, that's what you want from every game. But I think they're all winnable games. So what we're going to do, you know, after strengthening the squad and financially, you know, we've done no damage. And I'm all about damaging finances. If you've seen any of my other rebuilds, you know, I like to go all out and spend different money if I've got it. We haven't gone for it this time round. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to move forward to the end of Season 2. Where hopefully a decent showing in the Champions League, because we'll get some decent funds from that. And a reputation boost as well. And a good performance in the league again. Right guys, Season 2 is over and it's been an absolute shambles. As you can see, we've had a 7th place finish and it looks like we've just nicked that on the last game of the season. Having a look at this league table, and we played 38, won 18, not bad, drew 11, plenty of draws there, but 9 defeats this season, 61 goals scored, 45 conceded, plus 16 goal difference, not ideal, 65 points on the board, 2 points behind Celta Vigo, Barcelona winning the league, Huesca, Granada and Alaves all going down. When we have a look then at the past positions, how did we get on within the season? We've had a shocker. We're in 2nd place up until game day 5, and then it's just all fallen apart. Like I say, we've only just jumped back up into 7th place on the final game of the season with a 2-1 victory over Atletico Madrid. So that's a decent result. Competitions-wise, and I can see that we've somehow won, considering we've had such a shocking season. We had a 1-0 victory over Espanyol in the Copa del Rey. Diakabi with a goal on 5 minutes. We had 14 shots, 3 on target. They had 10 and 5. We had 64% possession now, so bossing that. But we have our first bit of silverware against the odds, I would say, as we've had a shocking season. Does that mean that I didn't notice? Did we get European football? We've still somehow got Europa League. So we've even got full Europa League next season. Let's just go back to those competitions. I am all over the place at the minute. As Champions League-wise, we were knocked out in the first knockout round by PSG. We were absolutely battered as well. 5-1 on aggregate there. Who actually won? It's Liverpool against Real Madrid in the final, so Real Madrid representing Spain for us this time round. And in the Super de Copa, we were knocked out in the semi-final by Real Madrid, so not ideal. However, we've got our first bit of silverware. I suppose I should be celebrating that. As you can see down here, our top goal scorer in that competition was our defender, Diakabi, and he scored in the final, so it's only fitting, I suppose. Finances wise, and this season, here we go, £21 million to spend in this upcoming transfer window. There's 100% of transfer revenue being made available as well. Wage budget is 1.1 million. We're currently spending 100k under that. 78 million in the overall balance. Debts and loan wise, we're up to 117 million again. Transfer debt is at £10 million, but again, all consolidated debt. What's the squad dynamics wise after the end of the season? That's team cohesion is good. Club atmosphere is average. The players are currently content and unlikely to take serious issue with anything negative at this time. That is a bonus. And my Giro support is very good. I've got plenty of players that want better playing time and new deals as well. Top influencers wise then, I've got somebody that opposes us. Hugo opposes us. I've got 14 players to support us, 6 players that have no real opinion of us. But why does he oppose us? What's the issue there? playing in a weak role and wants to start more games, right? So fair enough. Hugo may have to move on this season. 23-year-old though, with one cap for Spain already. So who knows how many games did he play this season? 15 games, 1 goal. Well, we might have to look at addressing that in the summer. So looking at the overall then, let's have a look at the player stats first of all. So Belotti was the top goal scorer this season with 23 goals, 17 in the league. No point looking at the top goal scorer within the league there, as Belotti's going to be nowhere near it. Highest average rating then was Digital Caviar with a 7.25. Most assists, DeMarco with 17. He's had a couple of good seasons with us, DeMarco has. Best pass completion, AMD Ryzen with a 98%. Most player of the match awards, DeMarco with 5. Most yellow cards, Nandez with 12. And he also had the most red cards with 1. And then when we're looking at the team stats, we scored 61 goals, which is the 6th best. I'm quite happy with that. Goals conceded, 45, 7th best. Yellow cards wise, 55, which is the 9th worst. Red cards 1, which is the 5th best. And the Mestalla again at the 6th highest average attendance. So there we go then, guys. It's been a shocker of a season, and somehow we've ended up with some silverware. Copa del Rey finds its way into the trophy cabinet. So there we go. So what we're going to do then is we're going to move forward. We're going to spend some of that money, but we're going to Moneyball as well. We're going to try and bring some funds in from those players that we got on free transfers last season. Belotti obviously must be worth some money now. Let's just have a quick look. Highest transfer value then. So as you can see there, Belotti, £95 million, Soler there on 93, Maxi Gomez, 70 million. So there's plenty of players with some value that we could potentially look at moving on this summer. So there we go. Very busy summer transfer window coming up. Right, start of season 3 then, guys, and straight away looking at the finances, we've still got £15 million in the transfer budget, a wage budget of 1.3 million. We're currently spending like 50k under that there and thereabouts. We've got 148 million in the overall balance. Look at that, it's on the up, and that's all that matters. Debt and loan, we're now down to £18 million net debt, transfer debt though, £35 million. But overall, financially, we're in a much better place, and we continue to get better and better each season. So players leaving us, and the first player out of the door was Boubacar Kamara. Now, he had a £45 million transfer release clause, and that was met by Spurs. Like I say, £45 million after we got him on a free transfer last season. This is what it's all about, you know, like I said, that money ball and bringing in those free transfers. He played 32 times this last season, 2 goals, 2 assists, and he will be missed. Solid player at the centre of mid defence, could also play an anchorman role, but I wasn't using that position. But yeah, away he goes, 23-year-old. Disappointed to see him leave, however, £45 million really helps out our financial situation. Borna Souza also leaves us, so he has gone off to Frankfurt. We bought him for 5.5 million, he went for 8.5. Played 17 times last season, so not a regular starter. Decent player, like I said, I brought him in for that pace and the crossing and dribbling ability. Obviously, we're playing with a wing back, but yeah, he has gone as well. So Sven Botman leaves us. He's only 23-year-old. He has gone off to Sevilla. We brought him in for 8.5 million. We sold him for just under 11. Not really a fantastic deal for us for this one, but the opportunity come in as he only played 13 games for us last season. He wasn't a regular starter. I've improved in that area anyway, so it was time to move him on. Uros Rakic has gone off to Borussia Dortmund. We let him go for £28 million after bringing him in for 1.8 million. Played 32 times his last season, 1 goal, a 6.89 rating though, and we had a bad season last season. He's an all-rounded player, but he doesn't exactly set the world alight. 9 caps for Serbia, 3.5-star player, but again, the money was too good to refuse. And then finally, another centre-back has left the club. Diakabi has gone. He has gone off to Napoli for £31 million. We spent £14 million bringing him in. He had a decent season for his last season. 29 appearances, 3 goals, 1 assist. Obviously, he scored in the cup final as well. But we've let him go. Decent player. And don't get me wrong, you know, I've let a couple of decent players go this season. But the money, again, just too good to refuse. So players coming in, and the first player through the door was a 24-year-old Brazilian, Matheus Cunha. Now he has joined us for 9.25 million from Atletico Madrid. They spent £27.5 million on him. He only played 3 times in the Liga last season, but he's a player that can play behind the striker, out on the left and right hand side as well. When we look at it here, dribbling 17, long shot 16, technique 17. Now he's got that 17 flair as well, and decent pace and acceleration. You know, I'm not bothered. Realistically, I want him playing out on that left and right hand side, as that pace and acceleration as well as his dribbling, he'll be able to do some damage this season, I'm sure. Then I went for the free transfer. I've brought in Samuel Umtiti. Now, this guy, his wages are astronomical normally, and I've brought him in for 22,500 on a free transfer from Barcelona. He was easily getting 300k a week at Barcelona, so that's a hefty pay cut. Tackling 16, marking 16, heading 14, strength 15. He's got all the attributes I want. Star-wise, not great at 2.5 star, but being on a free transfer, there's an opportunity for me to moneyball and get some money out of him next season. The next player through the door then was the 28-year-old Turkish international İrfan Kahveci. Now he joins us for 15.5 million from Fenerbahce, where he played 30 times, scored 7 goals, 5 assists, 4 player of the match performances. This guy comes to us on form. Yes, they've made a bit of profit on him. Solid player who can play behind the strikers, but realistically for me, he's going to play in the midfield. When we look at him here as a deep line playmaker or as an advanced playmaker, his attributes are incredible. Technically gifted, mentally solid as well with 16 composure and vision. Current ability 3.5 star, he's obviously playing to that full potential, and he's now valued at £54 million. I then strengthened in the centre-back options. I brought in a 23-year-old Belgian with 3 caps already, Arthur Theater, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Current ability 3.5 star, potential ability 4 star, heading 16, marking 14, tackling 15 as well. When we look at what he cost, 12.5 million from Bologna, where they spent 4.3 million on him last season. I'm sure that was one of those, get him on loan with a fee at the end of it. So yeah, we've brought him in when he played 34 times last season in the Serie A. So he's match fit and he's ready to go. Quality playing, currently valued up to £52 million. Then I've brought in another player, Ukrainian Ruslan Malinovsky. So 48 caps for Ukraine with 8 goals. He's 30-year-old now, and I spent big money on a player that's 30. Obviously, the board aren't too happy about that. But we got him from Atalanta, where he played 31 times in the Serie A last season with 8 goals, 1 assist. For me, this guy's got everything that I need. When we look at him technically, that long shots of 19, corners 17, first touch 16. He is very much a James Ward-Prowse. Obviously, Ward-Prowse, obviously, he'd cost me a lot more with Ward-Prowse. He cost me about £80 million. But we've brought him in, currently valued up to £59 million now. And then I had to really start spending some big money to improve again. So I've brought in a central midfielder, Algerian with 50 caps, 25-year-old Ismail Benessa. Now he joined us from Milan, £30 million we paid for him. He played 25 times last season, 1 assist, a 6.82 rating. That does concern us, but he's got a continental reputation. He's currently valued up to £82 million as well. Dribbling, technique, anticipation, teamwork, agility, balance, all 16. He's got 15 pace. Quality central midfielder, 25-year-old. Definitely going to be able to cash in on this guy in a couple of seasons. So looking at it overall then, I brought in £126 million and spent £74 million. So again, we're making money. Tactics wise then this season, we're going to play the 4-2-3-1 with Livakovic in goal, Dimarco, Umtiti, Ahmedhodzic and Rendell Carrera at the back, with Irfan Khan and Benessa in the middle, Guedes, Milanovsky and Sola out wide with Maxi Gomez up front. Obviously Belotti out injured, that could be Belotti or Gomez up front, but this team now really moving on. We're going to play a tick-attacker, on-attacker mentality, and we are going to go for it this season. I think this is a quality team, and I think we'll be able to do some serious damage with it. Competitions wise, and obviously we've got La Liga, we've got the Europa League after our cup win last season, and the Super Coppa. What is the expectation in the league this season though? They're expecting a 4th place finish this time round, 25-1. So a decent improvement within those league standards. I think last season they expected an 8th for a 7th place finish. So really good for us this season. We've still got no players in that Media Dream 11. Mbappe leading the line there with Fati and Felix. That is a quality 3 up front. So yes, we still haven't had anybody break into the Media Dream 11. However, what was the most expensive fee this season? Boubacar Kamara. The top 4 transfers, as you can see there this season, all coming from ourselves. So we've got to go for it this season. We've really got to push on. Having a look at the schedule then, how do we start? We start off with the game against Real Madrid, Betis, Villarreal, Sporting and Celta Vigo. So that is it. Big 5 games coming up, but we're going to move on to the end of the season where hopefully we've got into the Champions League once again. Right then guys, so we're back at the end of the season and we have got a 4th place finish, which is absolutely massive for the club. You know, to get Champions League football again. And we've only finished 6 points behind Real Madrid, but that gap between us and 5th place, Atletico Madrid, is 20 points. So it's a 4-horse race in this one. You know, in seasons gone by, we may have won the league with 85 points. It's just like I say, the teams with us were so strong as well. When we look at this league table overall, and Real Madrid scoring 103 goals this season, but we scored 108 goals. Wowzers, so the formation, only playing 1 up front, has worked a treat for us there. So we played 38 games, won 26, drew 7, lost 5, losing 5 games. You know, that's not bad. Really good form this season. 45 goals conceded, probably far too many there. 63 goal difference though, 85 points on the board. When we look then at the past positions, how have we performed? So we've been in between 3rd and 4th for the majority of the season, and I would assume that these teams have just moved about. They have, apart from Real Madrid, who've sat in top spot since what game there? Match day 12 with a 3-2 victory over Barcelona, and they have never looked back. Last day of the season, you can see Sevilla and Barcelona have swapped about, and we've just sat in 4th place there with a 3-0 victory actually over Barcelona, which has caused them to drop that place into 3rd. Club competitions wise then, so I see the trophy then, I got excited. Obviously a 4th place finish in the league In the Europa League, we were knocked out in the second round by Napoli. That's heartbreaking. 6-6 on aggregate. We won 5-2 away from home, only to lose on penalties there. We were knocked out in the semi-final of the Copa del Rey by Barcelona, and we were runner-up in the Super Copa as we lost 3-2 to Barcelona there. So Barcelona have done us in the Super Copa and in the Copa del Rey as well. Now, before we look at the finances then, there was some ins and outs towards the back end of the last transfer window, as I had players that did not want to extend their contracts with us. So the first player that left was Tolisso. So he left last summer and he went off to Sheffield United for £25 million, where he played 17 times in the Championship. I didn't actually realise Sheffield United were down the Championship, so that's a bit of a drop for him. We also lost Guedes. Now, he went off. He did not want to extend his contract with us either. £30 million. Yeah, we made a loss on this one, but he played 14 times for Napoli this season. I didn't want this guy to go. However, like I say, he did not want to extend his contract, so I had to cash in on him. And then in the January transfer window, I could not control this one. Federico Di Marco going off to Manchester United for £50 million, which was his release clause. He played 15 times for us this season, scored 1 goal, 9 assists, 4 player of the match performances. And yes, United coming in with a £50 million offer, which had to be accepted, and he went. However, I did bring some players in before the transfer window was closed. So the first player through the door was Gonzalo Montiel. He joined us from Leicester, I want to say. So Leicester, where they took him on for £7 million and we paid £12.5 million for him. He actually played 24 times for us, 2 goals, 6 assists, 1 player of the match performance. Decent right back option. Mental's incredible. Aggression, bravery 16, likes to get stuck in. That work rate of 16 as well, and the teamwork of 17. So really good player, 27-year-old. Argentinian international with 28 caps, currently valued at £29 million. And then with Guedes going, I was absolutely scrambling and I brought in Justin Kluivert. Now, we spent big money on him, £35 million. We played 31 times for us this season, 14 goals, 6 assists, 3 player of the match performances. That's a decent deal for me. Dribbling, first touch, 16 apiece. Acceleration and pace very high as well. Really, really good player and can play left and right. Also can play up front. But he's 25-year-old and currently valued up to £64 million as it stands. So again, I had to do a little bit of business, obviously, when certain team members wouldn't accept contracts. So yes, there you go. And they've made a quality difference to the squad. So finances wise then, this upcoming transfer budget is £43 million. Wage budget wise is now up to almost £1.6 million. I think that's doubled since the start. When we look at the overall balance, £126 million, and debt and loans, £30 million net debt. Transfer debt is £33 million. What is our transfer revenue? So it's 100%. That is good for any sales that we make. We look at the squad dynamics then. Team cohesion, club atmosphere and manager support is all very good. I've got players that want new contracts, but top influencers wise, anybody opposed? There's no. I've got 18 players that support us, 5 players that have no real opinion of us. And then look at the player stats. And Maxi Gomez got 38 goals this season, 22 in the Liga, 11 in the Europa League as well. I wonder how he got on in comparison to other players within the league. So Mbappe scored 26 goals, Ansu Fati with 23, and Maxi Gomez with 22, equal with Karim Benzema in 3rd place. So decent from Gomez this time round. Obviously, scoring those goals, he got the highest average rating as well with a 7.68. Most assists was Solo with 22. Best pass completion with Ahmedhodzic with 96%. Most player of the match awards, Gomez with 10. Most yellow cards was Rendal Carrera with 16, and most red cards, plenty of players with red cards there. But then when we look at the team stats, so team stats wise, he's got 108 goals, which is the best. Goals conceded, 46, which is the 6th best. Yellow cards wise, 76, which is the worst. And 5 red cards, which is the worst. So we're definitely getting stuck in with a dirty team there. And an average rating just under 46,000 again. So there we go then, guys. 7 points away from winning the league. Obviously no silverware this season. However, we've got Champions League football next season. So we go again. Let's rebuild for a title charge in Season 4. Right then, guys. So we're back for the start of Season 4. And I've spent £75 million. And I've not made the squad any better. This transfer window, I'm just getting priced out of everything. Any players that I actually want just seem to disappear to other teams. You know, reputation-wise might be killing us. However, you know, we are in the Champions League, but I still can't pull those players towards us. When we have a look at the finances, I've basically got 812k to spend. Nothing else is getting spent. And I'm spending 30k under the wage budget. So we've gone big again. But like I said, I don't necessarily think we've improved the squad. Or in my opinion, I don't think I've taken it out next level. Net debt is 25 million. Transfer debt is 27 million. And we've got 134 million pounds in the overall balance. So I've had a couple of players leave them, and Mamardashvili has gone off to Bayer Leverkusen. He was on loan with us the first season that I took over, and we brought him in for 775k. He actually become a regular starter for us. Last season playing 36 games, conceding 45 goals. And we sold him for Bayer Leverkusen to £21 million, so a decent bit of business there. And then the other player to leave then was Nandez. He has gone off to Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia. We bought him for £9 million. Again, last season he played 33 times, 4 goals, 2 assists, and an offer coming for 10.5 million. I'll let him go. So coming in then, the first player through the door is Ivo Rabic, 28-year-old Croatian with 4 caps. Goalkeeper, obviously similar to Livakovic. Was at Atletico Madrid last season, didn't play again for them. Was their second string goalkeeper, and he's going to be our second string keeper as well. Already valued up to £8.2 million. And another player through the door then was Firmino. Now, striker, Spanish, 23-year-old, probably isn't going to play too many games this season. We got him from Villarreal on a free transfer. He didn't play a game for them last season either. 16 finishing was the reason I brought him in. He just may be a depth option there should we need a little bit of a change up top. Like I say, free transfer, 5.8 million is now valued at. I then spent 25.5 million on Ricardo Horta, a player that can play in all 3 positions behind the striker, left, right and in those central positions. He's got a strong right foot, he's already been capped by Portugal, 29-year-old now, 16 acceleration, 15 pace, can do bits for us. We spent 25.5 million from Braga, where he played 34 games last season, 9 goals, 4 assists, 4 player of match performances. His ratings have been decent in the last 3 seasons, so that's why I spent the money on him. And the last player through the door then is Alexander Golovin. So we brought him in from Monaco for £50 million. He played 21 times last season, 4 goals and 1 assist. He was transfer listed. Again, he can play out on the left-hand side, but we're going to play him behind the striker. Dribbling 16, first touch 16, technique, passing. The long shots of 13, the only bit to let him down. But all the areas that I highlighted, he's decent in all of them. And like I say, brought him in for £50 million. He's currently valued at £97 million. Current ability 3.5 star, potential ability 3.5 star, so he's already there. And he's an elite attacker midfielder. So tactics wise, then this is how we're going to set up as our starting 11. We've got Livakovic in goal, Rendell Carrera, Aldrete, Aradodzik and Montiel out on the right hand side, with Khan and Benessa in the middle, Kluivert, Golovin and Sola out wide, and Maxi Gomez up front. As far as competitions go this season, we've got the Liga, we've got the Champions League, and we've got the Copa del Rey. But it's all about our performance in the league, and obviously as we look at the season preview, we're expected a 4th place finish. The biggest deals this season was Jeremy Pino going from Villarreal to Tottenham for £60 million. Second obviously was Golovin, but if we paid £50 million up front, it's 60 millions with add-ons. So that is it then, guys. Obviously we'll have a quick look at the schedule for this season. We're going to start off with games against Osasuna, Las Palmas, Getafe, Almira and Athletic Bilbao. 5 winnable games there, so we need to go again. But I am concerned that I haven't strengthened this squad enough, even to break into the top 4, let alone challenge for some silverware. So the end of season 4 then, guys, and although the team in my opinion was absolutely shocking going into it, I had absolutely no faith at all, we've somehow managed to win the league. 98 points on the board, 7 points cleared of Real Madrid. We have absolutely tanked every team in our path. We've won 31, drew 5, lost 2. Who were those 2 defeats to? 1-0 to Atletico Madrid and 1-0 to Real Betis. 121 goals scored this season, 29 goals conceded, plus 92 goal difference, 98 points on the board. Absolutely bossed it. No way, with the team that we had, should we have been winning this. Past positions wise then, looking at it, we've been in the top 2 for the majority of the season. And we went up into top spot with a 2-0 victory over Sevilla on match day 17, and we've stayed there all the way through. Real Madrid within the top 2 as well. So it's basically been a 2-horse race all season. Competitions wise though, winning the league, that's the biggest thing for us, but we didn't have a great time in the Champions League. Knocked out in the quarter-final by Spurs. We were actually beaten 2-1 there in a close game. And then looking at this Copa del Rey, we were knocked out in the quarter-final by Atletico Madrid, 3-1 as well, absolutely battered there. But it doesn't matter, as finances-wise, we've got £24 million in this upcoming transfer window. Still nowhere near enough. Overall balance, £99 million. Wage budget, just under £1.9 million. We've currently got £1.6 million being spent. Debt and loan-wise, £60 million net debt, £15 million transfer debt. We're all okay there. When we look at the squad dynamics, team cohesion is very good. Club atmosphere, though, is average. And my geo support is excellent. I've got plenty of players that want new deals. Obviously, that's what happens when you win the league. Anybody opposed us? No, I've now got 22 players as supporters. 2 players I have no real opinion of. That's some Titi and Nino. Did Nino actually play a game this season? He played 1 game, got 1 goal, 1 assist, and a 7.8 rating. Not bad for him. It may be the only game he ever plays for us, but at least he got a goal in it. So player stats wise then, Maxi Gomez scored 39 goals this season. How does that compare? He's got to be the league's top goal scorer, surely. So player overview then, Kylian Mbappe scored 42 goals. 42 goals from Mbappe, what an absolute boss man. 56 in all competitions, he scored 42 in 29. With 7 assists as well, yeah, Mbappe is tearing it up. But Gomez also had the highest average rate with a 7.7. Most assists was Horta with 18, a decent season for him. Best pass completion, Ahmed Odzik with a 97%. Most player of the match awards was Gomez with 14. Most yellow cards was Rendell Carrera with 16. And most red cards was Montiel with 2. When we look at the team stats wise then, so he scored 121 goals, which is the best. 29 goals conceded, second best. Yellow cards wise, 96 yellow cards, which is the worst. 3 red cards, which is the 10th worst, and the 5th average attendance. So looking at the squad wise then, where were these goals coming from? So Carlos Solo with 22 goals and 15 assists. Cliver with 19. Horta with 14. What a signing this guy's been. You know, first season with us, 36 games, 11 goals, 8 assists, and that's just in the league. Kunna got 13. Golovin, 12 goals, 13 assists. Malinovsky, 11 and 9. Belotti, even though he only started 9 games, scored 10 goals. Kankavecki got 12 assists, so there's plenty going on. Obviously, the tactic is working an absolute treat for us. So, we haven't got a lot of money to spend again. We're going to have to sell. Let's just remind ourselves, £24 million, but 100% of transfer revenue being made available. So, we're going to go for it one more time. I think now we've just got to be looking at Champions League silverware. So here we go then, guys. My last season in charge of Valencia. Done alright here, you know, we still haven't got any European glory, and I don't think I've done too bad. Obviously, that La Liga title has certainly helped things out, as we only had the Copa del Rey in the trophy cabinet. But finances-wise this season, you know, I've still spent some money. Transfer budget-wise, £14 million left to play with. We're only getting 80% of transfer revenue being made available. We've got £156 million in the overall balance. Debt and loan-wise, £0 net debt. You'll love to see that. Transfers wise, and the first player to leave us was Kankavecki. He has gone off to Inter Milan for £35 million. We spent £15.5 million on him. He's been a very good player for us in the couple of seasons he was with us, but we've basically got an extra £20 million for a player that's 2 years older. Now, Fernino, this guy, right, brought him in last season, didn't expect to see too much from him, and we managed to sell him to Hamburg for £7.75 million, where he's played 1 game and scored 1 goal. He only played 1 game and scored 1 goal for us as well, and I think that's why we've got so much for him, £7.75 million, and I'm happy to get that kind of money for a player who is bang average. Then Malinovsky has gone off to the UK to play for West Ham in the English Premier League. So he played 29 times this last season, 11 goals, 5 assists, 22.5 million we got for him. And again, this is a player that is 2 years older than when he joined us. Now 32-year-old, and we've still got, what did we get for him? 22.5 million. Great piece of business again. Fabio Cavallo has gone off to Aston Villa for £10 million. We got him on a free transfer, and we still brought in 1.2 million when we loaned him to Stuttgart. So again, he played 2 times this last season, and we've managed to bring £10 million in for him. Andrea Belotti, a player that we got on free transfer, now 31-year-old, has gone off to AC Milan. Last season he only played 13 times for us and he scored 3 goals. And we managed to get £25 million for him from Milan. That's the biggest transfer fee anybody's paid for him. We obviously got him on a free, and that's 25 big ones back in the bank for us. And then the last player out then was Ivo Grabic. Now this is a guy that we brought in last season. Managed to sell him off for £13 million to Zenit St. Petersburg. Decent goalkeeper, don't get me wrong, but I've brought in another equally good goalkeeper as well. So players join us, and the first player I have brought through the door is Ilan Meslier. Now he joins us from Leeds United, 3.5 million, absolute bargain. He's obviously fallen out of favour there. Now he only played 3 times last season, which means that he was displaced at number 1. Let's have a look at the senior squad. Who is their goalkeeper? Jordan Pickford. There you go. I'm assuming he was there last season as well. He was, where he played 36 times, conceding 46, £29.5 million as well. Leeds paid for him. So yeah, Meslier, decent goalkeeper, will probably end up being the backup. He's contracted to be the backup as well. But yeah, decent money for him, 3.5 million, quality player. And then I brought in a squad depth option, as you can see there, 2-star player. Constiel Tofan, probably wasn't even worth mentioning this guy, but I've brought him in for 2.7 million from Huesca. He played obviously 2 divisions below last season, 36 times, 3 goals, but the 14 assists is what tempted me, and I just needed another depth option out on that right hand side. Then I wanted a player that could be versatile and play up front and across the free behind the striker as well. And I've brought in Breel Embolo. Now I've brought him in from Wolfsburg for 21.5 million. He played 14 times last season, 5 goals. 5 goals the season before that, and 5 goals the season before that. So he does have goals in him. I'm hoping now that he's going to do bits for us. I'm not expecting him to be a regular starter. 28-year-old with 77 caps for Switzerland. He's a level-headed continental striker, though. Hopefully he'll do bits for us. I'm not bothered if he doesn't go as the striker. Obviously, we've got other players that can play up there. Maxi Gomez is the main man, but he can play out on that left and right-hand side as well. And then finally, I had to spend big money. I wanted some real quality to fit into that position behind the striker. And I've brought in Thiago Almada, 24-year-old Argentinian with 2 caps and 1 goal. Media description is midfield orchestrator. Current ability 3.5 star, he's playing to that full potential. Now, history-wise, we brought him in for £74 million from Leeds, where he played 33 times last season, 11 goals, 6 assists and 5 player of the match performances. And this guy could be the key for Europe. Now, I'm hoping we're going to do bits in the league again this season, but like I say, it is all about the Champions League. Or worst case scenario, the Europa League if we end up with a 3rd place finish. But that is very unlikely. You know, we're probably going to get out the group, and then it is all to play for when we get into those knockout stages. So tactics-wise, then this is probably how we're going to line up. With Livakovic in goal, Rendell Carrera, Alderete, Ahmed Odzik and Montiel at the back with Golovin and Benasser in the midfield. Kluivert, Almada and Soler out wide with Maxi Gomez up front. What a team that is. Some of these players are unregistered. Let's get that sorted out straight away. All done. So there's no issue with registrations now. So yes, plenty of options there as well on the bench. You know, Ricardo Horta done bits for us last season. We've got some of the youngsters still with us. Corbellini's there. And he has been with us since day one. Quality player, now 23-year-old. Has played some games for us. None last season, but for the season before that. Jesus Vasquez was a player that I promoted from the youth side. He's still with us now, valued up to £20 million. Played 10 times as last season. Plays out on that left-hand side defensively. Quality player. And a player that I've potentially ruined was Yunus Musa. Now, a bit of a prodigy, up and coming, going to be absolutely incredible. Played 6 times his last season, hasn't really featured. He had a couple of good seasons to start with. 28 games in his first season, obviously before I really started strengthening. But he's still with us. We might see more from him this season, who knows. So competitions-wise, we've got the La Liga, UEFA Champions League, and the Super Copa, as well as the Copa del Rey. What is the expectation this season now? Having a look at the season preview, we're expected a 3rd place finish, 17-2 to win the league. And we've now got 2 players in the Media Dream 11, Soler and Maxi Gomez in there. That is it. We've finally broken players in. I'm surprised Almada's not there, but obviously tactically that's not the way they're setting up for the Media Dream 11. So 2 players in there though, still quality, because it's normally dominated by Barcelona and Real Madrid. And finally then the schedule. So we're starting off with games against Sevilla, Sporting, Real Sociedad, Elche and Rayo Vallecano. So again, you know, if we can get 3 points against Sevilla, I reckon we'll win the rest of those 5 games. So that's what we're going to do then, guys. We are going to move forward to the end of Season 5. Well, hopefully we've added some more domestic trophies to the cabinet and we get lucky in Europe. Right, so that is it then, guys. The final season is down at Valencia, but we've won the bloody league again. Back-to-back league titles there. As you can see, 4 points clear of Real Madrid. But when we look at it on the big screen, 38 games played, 31 wins, 4 draws, 3 defeats, 3 losses this season. A 3-0 defeat to Real Madrid, 1-0 to Real Betis. So I'm sure that's our number last season as well. And Barcelona there as well. 113 goals scored, highest again. 25 goals conceded, also looks like it's the best. Plus 88 goal difference, 97 points on the board. We only won 3 of our last 5 games with a defeat and a draw in there as well. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich and Atletico Bilbao making the top 4 this time round. But the gap between us and Barcelona is absolutely massive. 21 points there. When we look at the past positions then, we've basically been top spot since match day 4 with a 4-0 victory over Elche. I'm assuming then Real Madrid, yeah, you know, they didn't have a great start, basically 4 or 5 games in, but then they've moved up into 2nd place. Barcelona, a steady climb for them. Barcelona finishing in 3rd place. No change between the top 3 from what match day is at. Match day 27 when they beat Almeria 4-0. So there we go. Winning the league again, absolutely massive. Competitions wise then, there's plenty of trophies here, but we finished runner-up in the Champions League. What happened there then? We were beaten 3-2 in extra time by Manchester United, and we conceded in the 89th minute. Reina, let's have a look at this bad boy. Stats wise, looks like it was an even game as well, as Reina then picks up on the edge of the area. And he's just allowed to run through our defence, you know. So he's took that game by the scruff of the neck. But we might as well look at the goal that won it as well. As what a goal that is, off the underside of the bar. Deserved winner from Dybala. And there we go. We end up losing 3-2 in extra time in the final. Manchester United then. Jose Mourinho, actually the manager there. He's gone back. Mourinho gone back to United. Stranger things have happened, I suppose. But Manchester United winning 3-2 in extra time there. In the Copa del Rey, though, we ended up winning. What was the result there? We ended up winning on penalties after a 1-1 draw with Barcelona. And then when we look at the Super Copa, we've won that one as well. We ended up winning 3-1 against Real Madrid. Absolute dominance there. Because we had 23 shots, 10 on target. A Courtois own goal on 78 minutes. But Horta with 2 goals on 15 and 25. He has been quality for us. It's not even that good, you know what I mean? 31-year-old now, 1 cap for Portugal, which hasn't changed. But yeah, 36 games played this season, 7 goals and 8 assists again. So after winning a domestic treble then, we then look at the finances where we've got £46 million spending the transfer budget if we were going to have it. One thing I would say is they haven't really gone all out, and you know, with finances being as they are, I didn't expect it, but considering the position that we found ourselves in, I would have expected at least a £75 million war chest for at least one of the seasons, but it's just steadily built up. Overall balance is £118 million. And wage budget is 2.7 million. Debt and loans, then we leave the club with £34 million worth of debt, but I'm sure that'll be wiped out over the summer, as it usually is for us. Squad dynamics wise, then team cohesion's excellent, club atmosphere and manager support is very good. I've got players that want improved contracts, that's not a problem. Anybody opposes now, I'll leave with 19 players supporting us, and 3 players having no real opinion of us. So looking at the player stats, Maxi Gomez scored an incredible 51 goals this season. Surely this time round he's the top goal scorer. And he's not, with Kylian Mbappe getting 41 goals this season. 37 goals for Maxi Gomez still isn't enough. Look at the state of it. He's 18 goals clear of Oyarzabal. Now, that is shocking. Absolutely shocking stuff. At least it's not Erling Haaland, who normally causes me all kind of trouble. Highest average rating then was Gomez with a 7.66. Most assists was Armada with 22. How did he get on this season? So 22 in all competitions, 15 in the league. 10 goals in La Liga as well for Armada, which is decent. Best pass completion, Ahmed Odzik with 97%. Most player of the match awards was Maxi Gomez with 15. Most yellow cards, Randall Chiari with 22. And he also had the most red cards with 2. And then when we look at the team stats, we scored 113 goals, which is the best. Only conceding 25, which is also the best. Yellow cards wise, 91, which is the second worst. And 4 red cards, which is the 4th worst. Let's have a look at the milestones then. So I was hired as the Valencia manager in 2021. In the 2023 season, we won the Copa del Rey, champions of that. Then we won the La Liga last season in 2025. But this season has been our season, where we won the La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and the Super Copa, and we finished in the Champions League final as well. But what about the overview then? So the big thing for me is transfer value. So we managed to bring in 30 players for a total of £381 million. We sold 73 players for a total of £519 million. So we made a £140 million profit there. Not bad going at all. Highest fee spent was £74 million on Thiago Almada, and highest fee received was £52 million for Jose Aya. We sold him right at the start of this, so we never beat that highest transfer fee received. We did have some big moves going out, obviously Belotti and players like that, but yeah, Gaia being the top transfer fee received. So massive for us there. We have absolutely bossed it. We spent 1,667 days on holiday, 93% this time round. So that is it. I think that's, you know, that last couple of seasons has basically saved us there. But financially, we've left the club in a much better place. I'm quite surprised a takeover hasn't happened. So there you go then, guys. Thank you very much for watching. But if you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do that for us, obviously, as we continue this channel growing. But thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.